Welcome to the iBUG Today iBuzz chat for Monday, August 23rd, 2021. I'm Marc Malloy in Montreal, and I'll be the co-host tonight with Sandhya and for the first hour. So what this is all about is we talk about iOS devices. We talk about iPhones, iPod Touch, iPads, all the iDevices, everything except the Mac. So this presentation is being recorded for podcast and for Sight into Sound Radio, which uses portions of this workshop or whatever you want to call it. For that reason, we ask you to keep yourself on mute unless you have an occasion to speak or to want to speak, at which point we wait for a free silent moment, indicate your name, and wait for permission from either Sandhya or I to go ahead. Otherwise, keep yourself on mute. And we ask that you limit yourself to one question at first so everybody gets a chance. Now, to mute and unmute yourself, if you're on the iPhone, it's down on the bottom left corner. It's a toggle, mute, unmute. On the Mac, it's Shift and Command, sorry. I have to look at my keyboard, Shift, Command.
Command Shift A, yeah, you're good.
Command Shift A and Alt A on Windows computers. We do not use the raise hand feature, okay, at all. So if you want to speak, wait for a moment to speak, and then we'll indicate your name, and then we'll tell you when it's okay for you to speak. And try not to talk over each other. I know sometimes we get excited or we have something we want to say, but just take it easy and relax, and you'll get your turn to speak. So I guess now we'll do the go round. Did I miss anything, Sandhya?
I think we're going to go ahead and do the announcements with Michael.
Okay, go do the Michael announcements first, and then we'll do the go round. That makes sense.
All right, thank you, Marc. Yes, we've got a number of things going on this week in the iBUG world. Starting out tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time, we've got the iBUG Mini Buzz right here on, no, not right here, but on Clubhouse, the Clubhouse app. It's a shorter version of this same kind of call, open Q&A help session for anybody with iOS questions and issues. Then right after that at 7 p.m. Central, back here on this very same Zoom line, we have iBUG Mac and Talk. And that is for anyone with Mac related issues and questions, hosted by our facilitator, Chanel Allen. Then let's see, nothing on Wednesday, but on Thursday we have It's iBUG's Life on Clubhouse. And there we are asking the question, aren't we people too? The conversations will center around what things businesses could do to help take into consideration the blind and visually impaired. What kind of alternative plans could they do to help out the blind and visually impaired? Then we will have, and that's hosted by George Batiste, and that is at 7 p.m. on Clubhouse. No, 6 p.m. Central on Clubhouse. Then we come to Friday night, our regular Friday night virtual movies, 7:30 p.m. for the pre-movie social, 8 p.m. for the movie. And immediately following the movie, we will have a discussion and some trivia about the movie. And to find out what our feature is this week, stick around for the halftime show and we'll be having the great reveal of that. And then finally on Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. Central, we have iBUG Apple Workshop. That discusses all things from the Apple world. Could be iOS, could be Mac. We usually have several demos and news and rumors from the Apple world, and also just general Q&A time. So that's 2 p.m. right here back on Zoom. So for getting additional information, you can always go to our website, ibugtoday.org, and that is ibugtoday.org. There you'll find information not only about all the different training and social things going on, our one-on-one iBUG Jumpstart Mentoring program. You can find all of our recordings of all of these training sessions. Also, all of our training sessions are available on our YouTube channel now. There are convenient playlists set up for all the different training sessions that we do. So we would love for you to join us. You can also check us out on social media, Facebook. We have a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/iBUG It's a great place to get information as far as all of the announcements. And if you have questions in between any of our training sessions, you can always go there and post a question there and get those answered. Also, you can follow us on Twitter. We have a Twitter account. The handle is @iBugToday, and lots of good information being tweeted out on there on the Twitter. So we would just love for you to continue being with us, and I think that's all the announcements I have for this coming week. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Marc.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for all that useful, valuable information. Now stay tuned for halftime because the iBag guy will be back with his movie clues and hints. And it's going to be a tough one this week. I got a feeling because I got it too easy 2 weeks ago and identified that pretty quickly. I think it was the second or third clue. All right, so it's time for everybody to introduce themselves. I'll start. I'm Marc by Argent Molloy in the scenic, beautiful city, the Paris of North America, Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
This is Herbie in the steamy city of Houston, Texas. And if you don't believe me, it's steamy, go to Spokane, Washington, and you'll notice a contrast between the sauna here and the hot desert sun there.
Good to hear from you, Herbie. Welcome back from Spokane. And I know what you're saying because I've been there. So, yep, it's humid here too. We've got a heat warning in effect probably till Thursday or Friday. All right, who's next?
Susan Sumler from the wet city of the Big H.
Welcome, Susan.
Toby in the steamy and dark Baytown.
Welcome aboard. Next.
Hi, I'm David from Manhattan, New York, New York.
Welcome, David. Only about 8 hours away from us here in Montreal.
Right. Yeah, it's good.
Welcome aboard.
Nikki from the not so pretty streets of San Francisco anymore.
Welcome, Nikki.
Thank you. Sorry I interrupted.
Okay. Okay.
Rose from
Sorry,
Philadelphia.
whoever raised their hand should just put it down because we don't use that at all. Okay, go ahead. Who's next?
Rose from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Welcome from the city of brotherly love. Welcome aboard.
This is Roy in Fort Worth in the backyard giving my dog a bath.
Okay, as long as you don't get a bath, Roy, and you're doing good, because you don't want to mess up your phone, that's for sure. Welcome, Roy. Who's next?
This is
This is
Joe from
Carol.
Norman.
Okay, you both doubled with each other, so try again. There was a lady and a gentleman.
This is Carol in San Antonio.
Welcome, Carol.
This is Joe from Norman, Oklahoma.
Welcome from Norman, Oklahoma there, Joe.
This is Ned from Kyle, Texas.
Welcome aboard, Ned. Next. Any takers? Going once. Going twice.
Jody
Going-
from New Hampshire.
Welcome from New Hampshire. Beautiful state, tax-free too.
This is Sandhya from
Very
Houston.
wet. Very wet
Uh,
right now.
And Sandhya, welcome aboard.
All
We
right, thank
Couldn't
you.
do it without you, lady.
Oh, thank you.
She keeps me in line.
It's a hard job. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Anybody
Elisa,
else? Lisa, hi, Lisa.
Elisa and beautiful hot porter.
Welcome aboard.
And I'm back. Just kidding.
Okay, anybody else? Going once. Going twice. Going 2.5 times. All right, we're moving along. Welcome everybody. Anybody who comes in and didn't have a chance because they were busy doing something or couldn't get to their phone or unmute. We'll do it again at halftime after the meeting and my little demo. We'll get that somewhere in there and we'll give people an opportunity for newcomers to come on board. All right, we've done all the formal stuff. Let's get down to business, what we're here for. Anybody you noticed, Sandhya, who was new? Anybody new?
Not seeing anybody new, but if we missed anybody, please, this is your turn. You can say your name and, tell us how you heard about us. But I think, I don't think we have anybody new.
Okay, who wants to be the first victim?
Susan.
Susan wants to be the first victim. All right, Susan, go ahead and
Yeah.
ask your question for $1,000.
If I had $1,000 in my account, I would declare it a national holiday.
So would I. Go for it.
Yeah, this is probably a simple question for y'all, but I really never paid any attention to it until now. But can someone tell me about what the VoiceStream reader is? I used the VoiceStream scanner because it works really well reading my mail for me. But the reader, the other day, there was some books in there and I had no idea where they came from. I guess it came with the app. So I got rid of those. But everything else from what I've been swiping around and touching, it doesn't tell me anything. What is it used for? Is it for you to put books on there? If so, how? Is it similar to Audible? Or what? What is it?
Hey, who wants
Jody?
to tackle with an answer? Who was that? Sorry?
Jody?
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah. VoiceStream Reader is an app that you can use. You can download books from, well, I'm a member of Bookshare, so I listen to all my Bookshare books on VoiceStream Reader. You can download books from a variety of sources, plus documents. So basically, it's a document book reader. And it's not like Audible, because Audible books are read by a person, where VoiceStream Reader app books are read by the voice that you pick. And there's quite a few choices to pick from as far as the different voices that are available. Plus, you can even add voices and purchase voices. So it's a very wonderful app, especially if you're a member of Bookshare.
Oh, yeah, this is Susan. Yeah, I never heard of Bookshare, but I have to admit, I love Audible. Hearing the real voice. I have about 150 books I have from them so far, but
Do you also
anyway,
read talking books? This, sorry, this is
Yes.
Jody. Okay.
Yeah, I
Go ahead.
had those. I haven't used them for a while. I kind of got addicted to Audible, but thanks for explaining about the reader for me. Can you tell me a little bit about when you find a book on Bookshare, how do you download it or something?
This is Jody.
Go ahead.
Okay. Once you're a member of Bookshare, you go to library and you go to add, and then you go to Bookshare, and then right inside the VoiceStream Reader app, at the top of the page, there's a search box, and you either put the title of the book or the author. I think you can search by subject in there, and then it gives you a listing of all those books. And then you can select it, swipe right, and download, and it's instantly in your book, your reader, and it will be in your library list.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the information. I guess that's .com.
Well, yeah, go to
Bookshare.
Okay.
bookshare.org.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Lisa?
the
Sure.
information.
All right, Susan. So you're happy with the results in your answer, and anything
I'm
else
tickle pink.
before we move along?
I'm tickle pink.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. All right,
Yeah.
who's next? Who's got another question?
Lisa?
Lisa, go ahead.
So when I came on Zoom, for some reason it kept on saying that the camera was not being able to be accessed like 3 times, and I was like, I don't even use the camera.
Okay, who wants to tackle that one?
This is Shelby in Baytown.
Go ahead.
Okay, excuse the background noise. My granddad's watching Astros. There should be an option to come in with or without camera. I don't know what's going. There must be some kind of bug or something, because you have the option to come with or without your camera. You can just turn off your video right next to the mute button if you don't want your camera.
Okay, are you good with that? Is that all right? Let's move along to our next question. Who's next?
Hello?
Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is David from New York. Pretty simple.
Okay, hang on. I got
Sure.
voices going off in my ear here. David from New York, go ahead.
Okay, very simple question. Okay, when I go, sometimes, this doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes if I go to the home page, sometimes the screen splits and it goes swish. Now I'm wondering what happens there. I mean, I have to hit the home button again to, to have the phone go to the full home screen, for instance. So I was just wondering, what does the swish mean? You know what I'm saying? You hear that sound like swish?
Okay, who wants to answer that question for David? Anybody?
Lisa?
This is Jody. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I hear it too, but I don't know what it's for, Dave. This is Elisa, sorry. I hear it too, but I don't know what it's for, David, to be honest.
Yeah, it's nothing big, but I was just curious.
Yeah.
The purpose of that.
Yeah, this is Jody. I wonder the same thing.
Yeah, I know, because we talked about it before, remember?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Don't talk over each other, people. And you're supposed to say your name before you start, okay? So just be mindful of that. Okay, anybody else have any comments on this? All right. So let's move along. Who's next?
D.
This is Jody.
Okay, there was two people there. Who want?
Yeah,
Who
go
was
ahead.
it?
Go ahead, D.
Rose.
I didn't
Okay,
catch.
this is
Go
this is
ahead.
D.
This,
Okay,
Okay.
Dee, go ahead.
Okay. I'm wondering these battery packs, the external pack. I was looking at some on Amazon yesterday. Are these quick charge battery packs? Are they only used for the, say, iPhones 11s and 12s? Or can they go way back to iPhone 5s and 6s and things? Is there a difference in that battery pack than other battery packs? Things is what I want to know.
Who's a battery packer that wants to handle that one?
This is Herbie.
Herbie, go ahead.
So, Dee, I just want to clarify, first of all, what do you mean by quick charge battery packs?
Well, I typed in Anchor battery pack and it came up with a couple that said we're quick charge, that they could charge something up in like 15 minutes or 12 minutes or.
Interesting. So those, they would probably, I don't know if they specify, but if you're going to charge an older phone, I would just look for a regular Anchor battery that doesn't say quick charge or anything like that. Those would be fine because it's just a portable battery that has the ability to charge. Anything that does turbocharging, I unfortunately, without seeing them, I have to type in Amazon, a quick charge in Amazon just to see what results I come up with. But sometimes what things can also be talking about is how fast the phone itself can charge. Like the iPhone 12 definitely has a different battery than, like, say, an iPhone 6, and so it can charge up a little bit quicker. But I would just stick to any regular Anchor battery that doesn't say quick charge, but it may say that. Yeah, and I'm wondering if I'll have to really type in to see what results I get to. But
Yeah, this is D. That was kind of my thought, Herbie. I kind of thought maybe those were for like 11s and 12s or something like that. And I thought I
may
need
be
to
for
stick
newer
to the
batteries.
regular.
Yeah, I would.
This is Sree.
Okay, go ahead, Sree.
So, in order to get quick charge, the phone has to support quick charge. And most of the older phones don't support quick charge. Now, if you're talking about wireless quick charge, there's really no such thing as a wireless quick charge. They're all pretty slow. Some go a little faster than the other. But the older devices, I am not aware of any of the older devices that support wired quick charging.
Okay, this is D. Well, that answers my question because I didn't want to buy something that blew up my phone first thing.
No,
So
you
thank
don't
you,
want to
guys.
blow up your phone, Dee, that's for sure.
Yeah. My phone's too old. It's kind of an antique. I don't want to blow it up.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I don't
Thank
want to
you.
blow up my 11. Never mind. Don't blow up an older one. And
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
My only recommendation is if you're going to buy something like this, just buy a reputable brand. Don't buy the cheapest one that you see on Amazon.
This is D. I was planning on buying Anchor. I think they're good.
Okay. Thanks, Dee. Thanks, Sree. There we go. We got a rhyme going. Who's going to rhyme with Dee and Sree? No, I'm just kidding. Who's next? Anybody got a question?
Kelsey. I see Rose first.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Kelsey or Rose?
I think Rose first and then Kelsey. Yeah, Rose had a comment earlier. Go
Okay.
ahead, Rose. Okay.
Yes, I'd like to know how to get from accessibility to VoiceOver. What should I do? Because every time I tried, and I will not get VoiceOver practice. That's what I need to know how to get it. But I got it with my mentor, but by myself, when I want to do the practice, it's hard for me to get. Sometimes the phone just stop moving.
Okay, who wants to help out with this? Get her on the right track with the voiceover. Who's going to answer that question?
It's Shelby in Baytown.
Go ahead.
Okay, you need to go to your general and then accessibility and then voiceover shortcut or voiceover.
Mhm. I got voiceover, but I don't get voiceover practice.
Oh,
This is Jody.
This is Keith.
Hey, hi, Keith. Go ahead.
Hi, how's it going? There's a couple ways you can get voiceover. How if you're okay with the gestures, you can do a 4-finger double tap, and that will start and stop help. And you can also go down, if you go down to accessibility, and then at the top, you'll swipe through and go to voiceover. If you double tap on voiceover, it will open up another page, and the practice area is there at the top. If you just swipe right, you'll come across it pretty quick. And if all else fails, you can ask Siri to open up voiceover settings.
Because I got voiceover. Anyway, I'll try this because I got to voice over on accessibility. But the voiceover practice, when my mentor do it together with me, I got the voiceover practice after this voiceover. Seems like there is 2 voiceover that get activate. Can
See
activate.
what
ahead,
happens in the accessibility, sorry, in the accessibility settings, there is at the top of that page, you'll swipe right until you hear voiceover, and then you double tap voiceover and it opens up a new page. And at the top, you can swipe right and you'll come across the practice area within 2 or 3 swipes. It's right there at the top. And you'll hear voiceover practice area, and then you just double tap that to activate it. But like I said, if you're working on your gestures, you can always do the 4-finger double tap on the home screen, and it will start. And in fact, you can pretty much do the 4-finger double tap anywhere, but in the middle of the screen, and that will activate the practice area.
Oh, thank you so much, Keith. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And thank you, Keith. And hopefully we got your question answered. Okay. Who's
thank you.
good? I'm glad. All right. Who's next?
Elsie, I think. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question about the back tap feature in iOS 14. It's actually a 2-part question, but the question I have is I'm probably going to have to get an iPhone 12. It's unfortunately, I thought I'd get an SE, but I can't. But I played with a friend's iPhone 11 and I was not able to get the standard home gesture to work. So my question is, number 1, can you use back tap to completely avoid having to slide up to go home, use the app switcher, whatever? And the second part of that question is, can back tap work without voiceover running?
Okay, who's a back tapper? Who's a good back tap dancer?
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
So I'll answer your second question first. You can, because back tap is also under accessibility settings. So you could configure back tap without going into VoiceOver to configure the back tap. Your first question was, can you do a back tap to get to the app switcher or the home screen?
Well, yeah. So like, basically, I'm sorry, I should clarify that. So basically what I'm trying to do is, when I don't have my iPhone 12 yet, but basically what I'm wanting to know is if I set the 1-finger double back tap, for example, to go to the home screen, can I use the back tap feature to unlock my phone either with or without Face ID enabled, so that I don't have to mess around with trying to swipe up from the bottom and have it not work.
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
I would highly encourage and tell you that don't be intimidated by doing the home, the gestures for going to the home screen and the app switcher, because this is a very doable task. It's just takes a little bit of practice. It's not that blind users cannot use. A lot of blind users are using devices without the home button. So I don't want you to use the reasoning that you want to use back tap just because you don't want to use the home. I am not sure whether you can use a back tap to bypass the credentials, because I'm going to assume you were going to set a password on the device.
Well, I'm not sure, because I did a little bit of research on this, and what it appears like is that if Face ID is disabled, you can use back tap to unlock the screen, but I haven't been able to confirm whether that works when you're using Face ID or a passcode. So, but I mean, it's like, yeah, I just was not able to, I tried it and I just couldn't get that gesture down. So I'm like, well, I need an alternative here. And so I was hoping that back tap could be a possible solution, to my issue.
Okay, go ahead, Keith.
I was gonna say I'll check on the what you can set the back taps to here in just a second, but I'm also gonna highly encourage you. Do you usually have a case on your phone?
Yeah, I still have my iPhone 8 Plus, but
Well, are you planning to get a case when you get?
yeah, probably
something?
the same one I have.
Okay.
It's just the basic old rubber silicone thing from
And
Apple. I don't know what it's called, but
here's a good tip for
You know.
you and everybody else with these gestures on the newer phones. If you start with your finger on the edge of the case at the bottom, and then drag your finger from the very bottom of the screen, and starting right there on the case will make sure that you're on the exact bottom of the screen, and just start dragging it up and keep your fingertip in contact with the screen, and you'll feel the haptics. And it does take a little while. And I have an 8 and then I have 11 Pro Max, and I'm definitely a creature of habit. So it took me a little bit to get it down, but I have found using that case is kind of like a base point, and then starting the gesture from there to make sure that the finger's on the screen from the very bottom has helped tremendously.
yeah, that's what I did, but it just wasn't working.
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
So I don't think if you're going to put a password in, the back tap is not going to generate the password to bypass the password. That's not going to work. You could probably set a back tap to go to the home screen, but it's not going to work with the if you have a password. One thing I will also tell you, just to go a little further with what Keith said, what I would do when I first learned how to do that is I actually placed, what finger do you typically use? Do you use your thumb or your index finger, or how do you use it?
I use my index finger now. The thing that I probably should have mentioned is, I can do it pretty well on the iPad, but it just, when I tried it on the phone, I just couldn't get the same response. So, I don't know what I was doing wrong, but it works pretty well on the iPad.
So what I would suggest is I actually place my finger, I use my thumb.
Okay, I use my index finger, but it probably doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but I place my thumb where the lightning port is. That's where I start, because you can always feel that lightning port. Just place your thumb on the lightning port and just take your time. And as soon as you go around the notch of the phone or the curve or the phone, you're going to hear the first haptic touch to let you know that it's initiating the slide to go to the home screen. But if you start from a point where you feel comfortable, where you're not going to cause any problem when you start from that notch, the lightning port notch, and then just kind of slide your finger straight up, but don't stop. Just continue to slide straight towards the top of the phone. And you'll hear 3 different clicks to let you know those 3 clicks represents different parts of your gesture. One other thing I will encourage you to do is turn the sounds and haptics in VoiceOver audio. Make sure those things are at 100% so you can actually feel and hear those sounds as you're performing the gesture. I'm gonna also just second it to you to just say, don't give up because you felt you couldn't do it in the beginning or a few times. And don't change it because you can't perform this gesture, because you can definitely perform it. It took me about 5 minutes just trying it over and over for 5 minutes. And eventually it starts clicking. And I'm very comfortable to say that you'll experience that too.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
This is Jody.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, have you considered getting an SE 2020 because it runs the same processor as the 11 Pro, but it's got a home button. If you feel, you know,
I have. That's the phone that I'm looking to, but
yeah, and it's only $399, which is quite a bit less than the 12.
Right, because of how the carrier upgrade programs work, I don't know that they will. My carrier's Verizon. I don't know if Verizon would let me get that phone because it's technically not listed as one of the approved phones for the upgrade. So I don't know. I'd have to check into that, see if they would allow it.
Okay. Are you happy with the answers you've gotten?
I think so. I guess I'll
Okay.
just have to just practice, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I know myself, I just go from the right-hand bottom corner and slide up and I get those boop, 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 you know, for the 3 different haptics. So, and that works for me, and I have an 11 and it took me about 5 minutes to get used to it, and it works great for me. So, who has the next question?
This is Joe.
Okay, Joe from Norman. Go ahead.
Yes. Using iOS on the NFB reader, NFB Newsline. I go down to magazines. Occasionally I can get to favorites, but usually I cannot. How do I find favorites?
Who's going to help Joe out with this one?
Brad.
Go, Brad. Welcome aboard. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you. Your Newsline, NFB Newsline app on iOS has got, they call it, I can't remember what they call it, page. I call it sections, pages. There's a little quirky little bar at the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
Put your finger on it, and then you're going to want to flick up or down to change page or section. And your favorite is page 1. There's 4 pages. The first one is your favorites. Page 2 is news, is sources. Page 3 is their NFB, KNFB reader basic that they offer, a little OCR utility they offer as part of Newsline. And page 4 is your settings. So you're looking for your favorites where you've chosen your newspapers or magazines and things that you want on your favorites list. That is page 1. And forgive me, I can't remember if you flick up or down to get to page 1. I think it's down. I don't remember.
This is Joe, and this is down at the bottom. Where you
it's at the
first
bottom of
hit.
the page.
Yes. Okay.
I don't like it. I wish they had a row of buttons that you could select and then double tap, but they chose to put a little bar, and your rotor, when you touch the bar and activate it, your rotor should automatically go to adjust value because that's kind of what you're doing. And if it doesn't, you can check your rotor and make sure.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, who's next with the question?
This is Keith.
Keith, go ahead.
With a quick follow-up on Kelsey's question, I just went into settings and under the back taps, if you go toward the bottom of the list, and the heading is system, and there is home and app switcher that you can set the back taps to. But I would assume that you will still have to get through the security if you have a passcode or a facial ID set, but they are there.
Okay, thanks, Keith. Okay, who's got the next question?
Hello, can I speak? The name is Bridget Dozier.
Did you say your name was Bridget?
Yes,
Go ahead, Bridget. Welcome aboard.
thank you. I had someone helping me with my I have a iPhone 10, and we was trying to put in my email so I can get on my email, but then we went to Safari to put everything in. When we got to, I think it was the edit box. I'm not very technical right now, but we went to the edit box and it was some different language, and we was trying to get it off, but he couldn't because I really don't know how. So we don't know what the problem is. Speaking
Okay.
another language.
Who can help Bridget out?
And he went to all the settings to make sure it was America, it was English. We went back to the settings, but then we was on Safari and getting ready to put in everything on the edit box, but it was still speaking another language besides English.
Okay, can anybody help Bridget out with this one?
This is
It's
Brad.
Jody.
Okay,
Go ahead,
Herbie,
Brad.
go ahead.
I think it's
This
Brad
is-
and then Jody. Brad.
Okay, let's go with Brad first.
Well, only thing I can think of is it's possible that in your voiceover speech settings, you have enabled another language. And there are some languages, some voices that will automatically switch to another language. I don't entirely understand what triggers this, but if you use your rotor and change to language and flick up or down, you should go between your default language, whatever that is, and your alternate language. And without getting my hands on your device or going through your device and seeing what exactly you've got set up in there, it's hard for me to guess what it would be, but it sounds like you've got more than one language, and I would be looking in your rotor for languages and then try and see if that remedies your situation.
To cut off the other language, just have English on.
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
I would just flip up or down and see what you've got in there. I would think one of them may be like, for example, Samantha US default. I can't remember. I've got two of them in mind. Ironically, I've got Alex set to be my default, but that's not what I use. I use Samantha, and I've got Samantha set to be English, so it doesn't change. And that's what I use. But I would just check your rotor. And if you have an alternate language in there, you will have languages in your rotor. If you don't, you might want to go in there into VoiceOver. God, it's not one of those things I do every day. Under speech and then voices, I think. And you can set rotor languages. And it's not one of those things I do every day. So I got to look at it and make sure I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, let Keith do it. Go ahead.
I was just going to help you out. it is under speech, and there is rotor languages, and it has an add button. And if you have multiple languages, you would be able to delete whatever you do not want, and just make sure that if English is the only language that you want, that that's the only one that's set. But voice over speech, and look for rotor languages.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Now, who's got the next question?
Well, this is Jody with a comment.
Okay, Jody, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to comment. You mentioned that you were trying to add an email account, and you wouldn't do that through Safari. You would go to settings and go to mail, and then you'd go to account and then add an account, and you would do it through the mail settings in your settings rather than through Safari. So I just wanted to add that comment.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
This is Brad.
Who's next? Who's got
This
the
is
next
Brad.
one? Brad, go ahead.
I just want to follow up on Jody. Actually, there are some mail services, like, for example, I use ATT Yahoo, and it uses what's called open authentication. And even though you go through the mail and go to mail accounts, and when you go to set up your account and enter your account credentials, open authentication will open a Safari browser window to do it in. I think Google may do the same thing. It's kind of weird. And then as soon as you enter your user ID and password and you authenticate and you're done, boom, it takes you right back to mail account settings. It's strange. Does the same thing on a desktop too. It's weird.
Okay. Thanks, Brad. Okay, who's next?
This is Kathy.
Kathy, how are you? Go ahead.
Good. That reminds me of a problem that I'm having. And it's kind of a twofold question problem. My problem is that a lot of times when I'm doing something on the iPhone, I probably hit a down swipe and I end up getting one of my rotor options, like I'll change my language or I'll change the speed. And I don't mean to. Maybe I was trying to swipe right, and I don't know why I do it. But my first question is, do you always have the rotor on? Was there something I should do? Like you turn the rotor and you're on something, and then later you swipe and it changes the setting. And I'm wondering if there's something I could do to stop doing that. That's just. And the other thing is so one of the things that's really annoying is I do change my voices a lot. In the beginning, I had my Irish voice, and then I had the Indian voice. And now I really just use Samantha. I don't use any of those voices. They're cute, but, after a while, I want to go back. So I tried to go into my rotor and erase those languages, and not languages really, just voices. It says dimmed, like it'll go to it and it says languages. I'm not sure if it says select and dimmed or just dimmed. It says dimmed, so I seem like I've unselected them, but they're still there. So I just heard Keith say there is a way to add, and I didn't see a button that said, I went back into there's two rotor options in the menu. One is the whole list where you can move things up and down the list. And that's the one where they're dimmed. And then there's another one where maybe you add things. But I don't know if there's a delete. Anybody know?
Anybody can help?
This is Keith.
Go ahead, Keith.
On the second question, I would again go to VoiceOver and then down to speech and then down to rotor languages. And if you have multiple languages, see if you can swipe up on one or double tap it there and see if you can delete it under speech. And then refresh your first question.
Well, the first question is, so are you always on rotor? Like one of the things One of the things I had on my rotor that was really troublesome was I was trying to work with the Braille input. And so
Right.
every time I was going on my rotor, it would go into Braille input and then
Right.
come out of it. And it was really horrible. So I got rid of the Braille input, but I still have the rotor all the time.
This is Keith.
Go ahead, Keith.
I was just going to say, here's what happens with the rotor. If you're in something that has default rotor actions, it will put your rotor on actions, and you'll be able to swipe up or down and do whatever action that app or what have you. And sometimes, if, like you said, on speech or audio ducking or anything like that, if your rotor happens to get on one of those when you're swiping around, it might turn it up or down. What I typically do, sometimes I'll get caught on volume or one of those. I'll just switch my rotor over to characters, words, or lines. And usually, if you swipe up or down inadvertently, at least you're not adjusting one of the volumes or something, or
Okay,
languages.
Good. Okay, that's great. I can do that. Thank you. Can I also want to mention to everybody, if I can take another second, that
we'll give you a break. Sure, go ahead.
I want to announce that I single-handedly, one of the things I always wanted to do was, sometimes I'm reading a book in Bard, I'm reading through the list, and I get a description that I want to send to somebody, and I was actually able to use the 4-finger tap, and I 3 fingers 4 times, and I copied the whole screen to email and then sent it to somebody. So I was very proud of that. So I'm making progress, even though I still come up with stupid problems. That's all. I'm done.
Okay, Kathy. Well, that's an interesting thing with Bard. That's for sure. We don't have Bard up here, but we do have similar with Sela. So I have to give that one a shot. Okay, who's next? Who's got a question? We're running almost up to the halfway mark in a few minutes. So if you got a question.
This is Chris.
Hi, Chris. Go ahead.
Hi. I have a quick question about Patreon, which Patreon is a podcast. If you want to subscribe or pay for a podcast, you have to go through, or, until recently, you had to go to be a Patreon subscriber, be a Patreon. Does anybody subscribe to podcasts through Patreon? And if you do, I assume that you have to go to the website, that there's a podcast player on that website. Does anybody know if that's VoiceOver accessible?
Who can help Chris out? Anybody? I've never heard of it, so it's new on me.
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
I have subscribed to podcast through Patreon. I'm not familiar with a podcast player in the website. There may very well be one. It's been a couple of years since I used it, and I remember having some accessibility issues with the website. They may have addressed those, but it's been a couple of years since I've been there, and I wasn't happy with it at all, but I struggled through it, got done what I needed to do, but hopefully they fixed it. But there may, or I don't know of any player. I thought it was just a website I went to and was able to enter my information, subscribe to it. I got an email that told me I had subscribed to it, and I was able to use a link in that email to then paste the URL into my podcast app, which I use Overcast. I was able to, when you go to find a podcast and the search field, I pasted that URL into the find edit field, and that's how I subscribed to the podcast and played it. Maybe that URL would have played it on my computer. I don't know.
This is Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so Brad, so once you pasted it into whatever podcast app you were using, and you subscribe to it from then you would see it in your feed within that podcast app you were using, the new episodes?
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. You know, instead of like going in my podcast to search for a podcast and you might type in the name like iBUG Buzz. Instead of typing in something, I had copied the URL from my email and then pasted it in there. And when I hit search, it popped up and then I clicked subscribe and it was in my list of podcasts that I, subscribe to, just like any other podcast I subscribe to. But I first had to go to Patreon, subscribe, was sent an email from Patreon that had the URL in the email. But that's been 2 years ago. They may do it differently now.
Okay. And as a quick follow-up, does anybody use, because I'm just kind of fed up with the whole Apple Podcast upgrade thing. Does anybody use iCatcher for a podcast app?
This is David.
Go ahead, Keith.
That was David. Go ahead, David.
Oh, sorry, David.
Hi, David. I was going to suggest Patreon. I haven't looked it up myself, but Patreon may have an app. You might check the App Store. That might be an easier way to access the podcast you paid for. I'm assuming they probably have an app. It's a pretty big, it's a pretty popular service. A lot of these podcasts are going now to patron supported, at least, give you extra features or no ads or things like that. But no, I don't use iCatcher. I use Overcast. I've been using that for 3 or 4 years now. I like that one.
Okay, thanks, David. Go ahead, Keith. Is that you?
Yes, I was just going to say there is a Patreon app, and it's a little clunky, but it's doable.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Chris, that we can help you with?
No, thank you, everybody.
Okay, you're welcome. Well, we got time for one more question. So before we get to halftime, so who's going to take us up to halftime with their question?
This is Jody.
Okay, Jody, go ahead.
In VoiceOver, there's activities, and I've never used it, and I'm wondering if anybody's used it, and what do you use it for?
Okay, who wants to entertain that one? VoiceOver activities. Who's active with activities? Who can help Jody out? Anybody?
Guess not.
I guess not.
Well, this is Sandhya.
Sandhya, go ahead.
I know that I've used that to I think what you can use it for is if you can specify certain settings for a certain app. For example, you say, okay, in Bard, I want to read at 300 speed, or, I want VoiceOver to talk at certain speed and this voice and whatever. So you can create little profiles for each app, and then that's where they would be. I think that's a real simplified way of explaining what activities are, I think.
This is Sree.
Go ahead, Sree.
Yeah, so Sandhya is basically right. So basically, you can go to, let's say, for example, you want your emails to be read with a different voice talent at a different speaking rate. You want the punctuations to be all red, and you want the emojis to be stated. You can create it so that in that particular app, as soon as you launch that app, that activity will kick in and you will experience all the settings that you configured for that activity for that particular app. And then when you go back to, let's say you go back to iMessage, then it goes back to your default settings. So you can create an activity for an app or multiple apps using the same activity, or you can create individual activity for any of the apps you want. So there's a lot of settings that you can go into these settings inside that activity to configure the app that you want, the way you want to listen to it.
Okay, thank you.
This is Keith.
You're welcome, Jody. Keith, go ahead.
And I also believe that once you set the activity, you can control it in your rotor.
That's too cool. That
This
is
is
really
Sree.
too cool. Anybody else have a comment? Because we're almost to half
This is
point.
Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
Yeah, there's one caveat within the activities. If you accidentally get on programming, I had this happen, and so what happens, you're in some kind of special programming mode, and it's reading you every punctuation, every little detail, and I was trying to go into my punctuation settings and so forth, and you had to be really careful. So just try to stay away from the programming setting in activities. That's all I have, and I think Sree had a comment.
Okay, thanks, Sandhya. And Jody, anything else? You good?
No, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we are at the halfway mark, folks. So it's been a blast. I will be back with a quick demo after we hear about the movie and a few other things that are going to happen here. So I'm turning everything over to Sandhya to carry on. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Marc. Wow, kept things moving along. Thank you very much. Okay, so welcome to anybody that didn't get to say, well, welcome to everybody, but then if anybody didn't get to say hello the first time around, this is your turn. Please say hello and where you're from.
This is Brad. I am in
Hey,
Dallas.
Brad. Okay, one at a time. Brad, go ahead. Who else?
This is Sree from Virginia.
Sree, welcome, Sree.
This is Keith in Austin.
Hello, sir. Welcome.
And this is Steven from Austin.
Steven from Austin. Welcome.
This is David from Houston.
David, and who else?
Bridget from Georgia.
Bridget. Yeah, Bridget, welcome to you. And Dana, welcome, sir. Anybody else?
Kathy from Tulsa.
Welcome. She's on time today. Good job. Okay, anybody else? All right. Okay. And just real quick, Miss Bridget, we just wanted to recognize you. Where are you from?
From Atlanta, Georgia.
I believe this is your first time, right, to call in?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Oh, well, we are super proud of you and welcome to you. And that's a big step. And what devices do you have?
I have an iPhone 10 and I have a computer.
Okay.
And I'm everything. I'm not computer savvy at all. I'm on the preschool level.
Oh, it's okay. We all started at the preschool level. Okay. You got to walk before you can run. So you are here at the right place. We're all here to help you. So we are just so happy that you called in. Okay. So we're here to help you. So glad to have you. All right. Okay. So just going over our quick recap of announcements tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central, all time Central. We're going to be on Clubhouse doing this very same thing. So if you didn't get enough, we would love for you to come tomorrow and we can do it again for 1 hour. Then on tomorrow night back here on Zoom, we will be with Mac and Talk, all things relating to the Mac. Questions about what you are supposed to do with your Mac, or I don't know, if you should get a Mac, all kinds of good, profound questions about the Mac will be addressed there with Chanel. So please check that out at 7 on Zoom. Then on Thursday, we have It's iBUG Live back on Clubhouse. So it's a good week for Clubhouse activities that will be talking about Are we people too? So that will be an intriguing topic. So come check it out. And let's see, we have Saturday, we have iBUG Apple Workshop with some fun demos and good stuff, lots of good demos and Apple news and so forth. So come and check it out. That will be from 2 to 4 Central Time on this same conference line. Then, I know you're saying, what happened to Friday? Well, Friday, we have iBUG night at the virtual movies at 8 p.m. Central Time, and we'll have a little social time at 7:30 and a little discussion and trivia afterwards. And for the inscrutable clues, I think the new word will be indefatigable. That's my new word. I think that's what we're going to describe his clues are. Okay. Maybe it's not appropriate, but we're going to try that word. Okay. Yeah, I'll spell it for you later. All right, it's when you asked me to say, I said it before. Okay, go ahead and where is the iBUG guy? iBUG guy, are you there?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh no, here he goes. Okay.
Indefatigable.
No, indefatigable. No, Chris is gonna yell at me because I know
I
this
don't
is.
even know if that's a word.
It is. I'll find it
It
for you. Goodbye.
means losing weight without even trying.
No.
Indefatigable. Nope. All right. Good try. All right, let's go. As Sandhya said, we have the Friday night movie this week, and we have another awesome, spectacular feature this week and some even greater clues. So, but before we go into the clues, Chin Chin, Slinte, Gambe.
I couldn't hear what he said.
Nobody.
He's tripping.
You didn't miss anything.
Nobody knows Italian, Scottish, Gaelic,
He's
or
tripping.
Mandarin.
Hey,
I
hang on.
Hang on.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm not going to explain then. All right. No, those are just ways to toast in Italian, Scottish, Gaelic, and Mandarin. See me later. All right, are moving into our first clue.
And the rules are?
I'm getting feedback. Are you guys getting feedback?
Yeah.
I'll mute everybody. Hang on.
I may have to call back in.
All right, everybody is muted, including you, sir. So please come back in.
All right, how about now?
You sound good. And just remind everybody of the rules. Please say your name and wait to be recognized before saying the answer or your guess. Thank you.
And everybody can unmute themselves, right?
Yes, you should be able to unmute. Yes.
All right. So clue number 1. This week's film takes us back to a place we have seen before.
Is it the ocean?
No water in this one.
Oh, I think we had enough water for a while. Okay. Anybody have any guesses? Got to
Sonny,
unmute.
you're breaking rules.
All right. It is. I will go ahead and say the place. NYC.
Oh.
Well, I'm not saying the place. I'm just giving you the initials. All right. Nobody's piping up for that one. Here we go with clue number 2. The main character has a desperate need to share or mimic the effortless social interactions he sees all around him. The main character.
This Chris?
Oh no, Chris. Go ahead.
Oh no.
No. What's it called? The social club, the social network, the Mark Zuckerberg.
Social network. That was close, but no cigar.
Okay.
This is Joe.
I think we got Sree first.
Oh,
Sorry.
I didn't miss. Okay, go ahead, Sree, then Joe.
Is it Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Will you stop?
No Spider-Man in this one. But that's almost not even close. Okay, now we go to Joe.
The Great Gatsby.
The Great Gatsby. Gatsby.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
read it. F.
Yeah.
Scott Fitzgerald. I know who.
Aren't you fancy all of a sudden? Okay, go ahead.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
No, did we have someone else?
No, that's all.
Take a
Go ahead.
guess?
No, we're moving on to clue 4. Or where are we? Clue 3?
Our desperate need to share or mimic the effortless social interactions of others around him. Okay, clue number 3. We see a series of his failed attempts to connect, every one of them homeless hopelessly wrong. Let me read that again.
Yeah.
They're homeless or they're hopeless.
Yes, please.
We see a series of his failed attempts to connect, every one of them hopelessly wrong.
I think you're gonna.
It's David.
Oh, David.
David,
Is it as good as it gets?
as good as it gets. That is another great guess, but not it for this one. All right. We are getting close to stumping the band.
No, we're not stumping them. Keep going.
All right. Next clue. Clue number 4. This utter aloneness is at the center of the film. Perhaps it is why so many people connect with it.
This is
Sree?
Ned.
Ned, then Sree.
I'm trying to think of the title. Is this the movie with Jimmy Stewart looking through binoculars into other apartment windows in New York City?
Rear Window. We have seen that one before already.
Okay.
But that's a great guess. Thank you for playing. Now, Sree, go ahead.
Is it Scent of a Woman?
Scent of the Woman. That's another great movie that we've already seen before. So far, we have not resorted to rerunning any films. So
This is Chris.
no. Okay, Chris.
Is it you, Michael, at the iBUG Christmas party?
That is a horrible, horrible guess.
My bad.
Okay.
Okay, you need to move on.
The 5th and final clue. I know this will give it away. Guaranteed. So get your fingers ready on your buttons to unmute and say your name. And often quoted line from the film is, "You talking to me? You talking to
Brad.
me?"
It's Chris.
Sree.
Brad.
Taxi driver.
Oh.
Ding, 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 ding.
Gave it
Yes,
away.
yes, yes. You talking to me?
I think you've been practicing that all day, right? I'm sure.
All week.
All right. Way to go, Brad. All right, Johnny, what do we have for our winner tonight?
All right, Brad, you are in for a treat. We are not sending you to New York City because we've already done that multiple times in multiple vehicles. So we will be sending you a saxophone. Okay, of course, in iBUG colors. And I'm sure it's a beautiful instrument, but I'm sure you'll make it sound terrible. But anyway,
Virtual
try.
checker cab.
All right. And then that's not all, Brad, especially for you, an apple pie covered in melted cheese. And if you wonder what that's all about, come and watch the movie.
Is
All
the
right.
saxophone in iBUG colors?
Yes, the saxophone and iBUG colors. And
Okay, that's good then.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Thank you for playing, and thank you for all those lovely, indefatigable clues, sir. And would you like to say goodnight, Mr. McCullough?
Good night, Mr. McCullough.
You're so good. Okay, so just to run over what we are going to be happening next, we're going to be doing our iBUG Byte, our little 5-minute demo, and then we are in for lots of activity today. So then at the 9 o'clock hour, we have our iToys segment because it's the fourth Thursday. Oh, not Thursday. What's today? Monday. Fourth Monday is iToys. So let me put everybody on mute because I hear an owl. I don't know why. Oh, these animals, I tell you. Okay, so Mr. Jean Malloy, are you here?
I am.
All right, so
God forbid.
everybody's muted, so we are ready for your presentation.
Okay, this is going to be a quick one. I mean, I could get more into it, but this is a Clubhouse quickie, if that's okay. How often have you been, what's the word I'm looking for? Annoyed by the number of rooms that come up in your hallway? Well, you can do something to eliminate those rooms, and it's very simple. And it eliminates the rooms, and it also tells the algorithm eventually that you don't want to see those types of rooms. And that may take a little bit of time, but it does work. So let's go. We're in the Clubhouse. All right. So I've already opened it up. Let's go to the rooms.
Can you turn up the volume a little bit louder, sir?
Louder?
On your phone, yeah. There you go. Good. That's good.
Is it too fast?
Little bit, yes.
Okay.
Words, speaking rate, punctuation, speaking rate 50%.
Okay, normally I run it at 55, but I turned it down to 50. We'll see how that is.
Working remotely from Kauai, hosted by work.
Okay, so what you do to eliminate your rooms, you have a choice. You can do a triple tap, and the same thing will happen as a double tap and hold. So either one, whatever one you're more comfortable with. I find you're more chances to get rid of them by doing a double tap and hold. I don't know why, but you'll hear what happens. You'll hear two noises, and then it'll be ask me if I want to delete that room. So
Working remotely from Kauai.
okay, double tap, hold.
Show me fewer like this. Button.
Show me fewer like this. And there's a button there.
Cancel. Show me fewer like this.
That's the button you want, and you double tap.
9 flag of Tunisia.
Goes to the next room. So
machine.
Double tap and hold.
Show me fewer like this. Button.
And so on and so forth till you get to the end of your rooms. Now then you can go back, and your hallway is not as populated. Now, in the middle of your hallway is something called the carousel, which VoiceOver refers to as
Under to see first vertical scroll buddy list. Start a room. Open back
hang
chat.
on a second.
Kiwi welcome 45% ACB presence. The
Okay.
date per talk movie the road I catch are you
We're going there.
prophetic and what upcoming
Up and coming
events.
events, which that comes from your calendar. So it takes the top up and comers, which you don't do anything with. This is what I've been told by people in the community club, that you just leave that alone unless you want to schedule an event. But when you have an event in the carousel up and coming,
iBUG mini buzz iOS voiceover Q&A.
that's tomorrow, but I'll leave that one alone because I'm already in it.
Kiwi Hangout Friday Cookout 2021.
The Kiwi Hangout. Let's say I want to look at that.
So view event button.
View event will give you a view in your calendar to view it and add it to your events so that you get notified. Now, that one works fine with VoiceOver. I have not been able to ascertain what these other ones do, if anything.
Subscribe to event button.
I have tried that, and it doesn't seem to impact anywhere. If anybody knows, clue me in. The next option you have is
remove recommendation.
Remove the recommendation from the carousel.
Cancel.
And cancel. So the only one I've used is view event. If I want to view the event,
View event.
I double tap,
Kiwi Hangout. Dismiss. Button.
and I can dismiss it from here if I made a mistake and don't want to view it.
Friday, AUG 27, 4:30 a.m.
Okay, it's at Friday, August 27th at 4:30 a.m. Same as your calendar.
Not attending.
Not attending because I haven't scheduled it. If I double tap on not attending, and this will work in your calendar area as well.
Attending.
There, it's scheduled now. Now I can dismiss it.
Dismiss.
Now, all I can say about the carousel beyond that is you have about 30 rooms in your carousel before you go back to your list of other rooms outside of your carousel. Your carousel is sort of in the middle. So if you go past those 30 rooms or in the carousel or 30 upcoming events, you'll get to more rooms that you can swipe up and delete as you did with the previous bunch. So I use that a lot to especially the swiping of the rooms to schedule, or sorry, not to schedule, but to repopulate my hallway so that it's not as full as it was. So it's much easier to manage and go through the rooms I want to look at. So any questions?
Sorry. Okay, I had to. Yes, so people can unmute, and Mark, you will have to unmute. Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mark about this Clubhouse question? So Mark, I did.
Nikki.
Okay, Nikki, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm doing this by sight, not by VoiceOver, but somehow I eliminated a whole page of the stuff that you look at when you first go in there. But I found a way to not get the same kind of stuff, you know, to have less of that kind of stuff. But then all of a sudden the whole page disappeared. So I don't know what I did.
Okay, yeah, we
has that happened to
mainly
people before.
Right, we mainly focus on VoiceOver, so I don't know if we can really help you there, but thank you for pointing that out. Okay, Mark, are you there? I did mute you by accident, so. All right, any other?
Anybody else?
Yeah.
It's Kathy.
Go ahead, Kathy.
That's excellent, because one of the problems I've had with Clubhouse is just too much stuff. In the beginning, I was kind of having fun, but now it's like there's so much stuff and you can't find what you want. But my question is, I turned my notifications off, and I also erased some stuff in the calendar, because like every day I was getting my 8 o'clock book club announcement. But so now I don't get that many announcements, but Saturday it seemed like, you know, I was getting all these announcements. I was trying to read a book and it kept interrupting. And so then I got brilliant and I said, turn notifications off. And it kept interrupting the book to tell me that my notifications was turned off. I think every time a notification came in, it said that. I don't know if there's a way to.
When you're in, this is Mark speaking. When you're in Clubhouse, you can go to your settings and then go to pause notifications, and you can pause them for an hour. You can pause them till the evening. You can pause them till tomorrow morning or next week. Doesn't matter which one you pick, because you can always go back and unpause it in your settings. There are other options as well to set up. You want to see what's in your rooms and hear what's in your rooms, that's fine. You want to get your back channel messages, you can leave those on. You can, I have my trending rooms turned off because I don't care what's trending, but I leave the other rooms on for clubs and new events. So all I have turned on for notifications is see less, other rooms at the right-hand end, and when people come in or do something that you follow in the rooms. I do not have trending turned on. And that seems to help a little bit. But if you get tired of it, you can always go into your iPhone, or sorry, you can go into your notifications for Clubhouse, swipe up to manage, and set that to display quietly so that your notifications will still be there, but you have to go in and look at those notifications whenever you want to see what they are. So that works as well. It doesn't turn off your notifications. It just puts them up there and displays them quietly so you can go in at your leisure and look at them. But when you do that, you won't be pinged into rooms. Because you won't know that you're being pinged in because they're being displayed quietly.
Right.
So I hope that helps.
Yeah, great. Mark, thank you so much. All right, we have a few minutes before the iChoice segment at 9. So who has a quick, who has a question? And we'd love to hire somebody that hasn't had a chance, that has a question about an app or a voiceover gesture or what would
Sandhya,
you?
I'm going to exit
This
out
is
and
Marty.
come
All
in
right,
on my
perfect.
phone.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
So
yes.
if I disappear, I'll be
Okay,
back,
that's fine.
but I'll be on my phone because I can
Oh,
hear better on my
Okay,
phone.
okay. All right, yes, go ahead, Marty.
An update to a problem I brought up a couple of weeks ago when disconnecting Amazon Buds. What I've had to do was when they disconnected, takes about a minute for the sound to come back on the phone speaker. So I turned voiceover off and then turned it back on. And unfortunately, that's what you have to do to straighten that problem out immediately.
Okay, well, that's good to know. At least you found a solution. So thank
If
you.
Herbie's on the call. 'cause
All
that's-
right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, very good, Marty. Thank you for following up with that. Okay, all right. Anybody else have a new question that they want to get in? Would like to ask a question?
Bridget.
Okay, go ahead, Bridget.
Yes, I don't know how to do this. Which device would you get on Clubhouse on?
Okay, who would like to describe real quick how to get on Clubhouse? Anybody? Okay, well, what you would have to do is one thing, we can send you an invitation if you send an email to ibugtoday@gmail.com, and then we will send you the link, or the link is also available on our website. And once you click on the link, then you will be able to join. It is, and then you'd also have to download an app. I mean, it's been a little bit since I've done it, but if anybody else wants to add anything to that, there are a couple of little steps involved. So you would have to set up an account.
This is
Brad.
Download the app first. It's one little
Yes.
step.
There
and
you
it makes
go.
it a little less confusing.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yes, thank you,
So
Brad.
on your iPhone, download the app.
Yes, that's right. Download the app, the Clubhouse app on your iPhone. And then you would, so basically Clubhouse means that you need to get an invitation to join. And so we would provide you with a link or an invitation, and then you would start the process, but you would eventually have to set up an account on Clubhouse. Okay.
But you send you all some on email.
Right. You'd send an email, or you go on our website or the Facebook page. They're there
This
as
is
well.
Dana.
Go ahead, Dana.
Or if you have a friend that's on Clubhouse, you could have them send you an invite.
Yes,
also.
exactly. There you go. So once you set up your account in Clubhouse, then they'll see you. They'll say, "Oh, Bridget's on here. Do you want to invite her?" Or something like that, and then they could even invite you then. Okay.
All right,
Brad.
I thought Clubhouse did away with the need for an invite. I thought they made it open now. Is that not correct? I'm not sure because I'm already a member.
Well, it's been a while since I've gotten anybody. Yeah, go ahead, Keith. Yeah.
I was going to say you can also request an invite on the app itself, and it may take a little bit, but I did that on my other phone, and they texted invite to me.
This is Herbie.
All right, go ahead, Herbie.
I agree with what Brad was asking. I think that it is, from what I understand now, it is open invite to anybody. You don't need an invitation like you did in the past.
Okay. All right. Well, there
This
we go.
is
We stand
Dee.
corrected. Go ahead, Dee.
You don't want me to talk about iCloud?
Yeah.
iClub, whatever that thing's called.
Clubhouse. Yes, we know.
Clubhouse.
Nothing
I
has
know.
changed with you, obviously.
Well, I'm like those guys. I did read something that said you no longer have to have an invite. It's open, but I have not tried to go in there again.
Okay. Well, it's understandable.
Anyway, I just had to bother you about Clubhouse.
I know. Well, sorry you're having so
Someday.
much trouble. Yeah, one day.
Well,
By
someday
then-
I might try it again, but
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
Very good. Well, okay. Well, great question.
So y'all don't feel bad if they don't let you in.
They'll let everybody in but Dee. So, all right,
Everybody
Bridget.
but me.
Bridget, great question there. And we will be, like I said, with the last 15 minutes of our iBUG mini buzz on Clubhouse, we will talk about we saved that for Clubhouse questions. Okay, so now we are getting ready for the iToys segment. So I will be muting everybody once again, and then whatever remaining time after the presentation, then we will turn back for questions, just general questions, back to our program. Okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, you're good. Go ahead.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the iToys segment for Monday, August 23rd, 2021. You know, one of the things that we constantly get questions on from time to time are about chargers and batteries and wireless chargers, like we did earlier, as a matter of fact, tonight. So I thought I'd bring in somebody that actually has had experience with wireless chargers to talk about one that he has, and that is none other than our very own Sree. Sree, good evening.
Hey, Herbie, thank you. People can hear me?
Yes, you're coming in loud and clear.
All right, so I thought before I talk about what I'm going to go over today, I want you guys to picture this. You are someplace and you're just about to pass out of hunger. The closest restaurant is too far, but you got a Snicker bar. That Snicker bar is basically what's going to hold you up till you can get to the restaurant to eat. It's a quick fix to a hunger. So today's product I'm going to talk about, or the iToy I'm going to talk about, is the Apple's MagSafe battery pack. It came out earlier this year. I would say I've not heard so many controversy regarding this product, and most of it been pretty negative because of its capacity as well as the cost. But hopefully I'm gonna bring out a few little points at the end to say why I was willing to pay a little bit more to get this product. So first off, this is a battery pack and not a battery bank. And what I mean by a bank is typically you get these battery devices that you can plug your lightning port to the battery bank and then connect it to your phone. You kind of like the cable connection is what's charging it from the bank to your iPhone or your to your device. In here, we're actually using a battery pack. So it's basically just a battery that with the MagSafe, it snaps into your iPhone 12 models. And before I start, I want to let you guys know this is a $99 cost. It only comes in one color, which is white. It has a matte finish white, very comfortable to hold. It does support all of the iPhone 12 series. And basically how it works is you basically snap the battery, which is, it has the MagSafe magnet. So you just basically snap it to the back of your phone, and it has a pretty strong magnet connections. I could hold the battery pack and wave it around, move it around, and it's not gonna come off. It's a pretty strong magnet. Now, I'm going to go over a little bit about the charging capacity. So this unit charges wirelessly at 5 watts. Now, there are other devices out there that might charge at 7 watts. And we say, well, that sucks. You paid $100 and you can find devices less than $100 or sometimes even half the cost, and they charge faster than 7 watts. But that's not really the true story about how this works. Now, I will also tell you that if you plug this battery pack to a 20-watt brick, this will charge the charger or the battery pack as well as your phone at 15 watts, which some of the other devices don't do it when it's wireless, and when it's wired connected to the wall, and then you're charging your device. Now, as I mentioned to you guys before, this is really a battery pack used when you're about to face that your phone is just gonna die. Like you're at a very low battery percentage and you're looking for something to just get you by till you can charge your phone. This is not meant to go and charge your phone. If you're trying to buy this to charge your phone, this is not the right product. This is to basically get you through to where you can charge your phone. Now, if you buy this, and some of the negative comments have been, well, you're buying this, and if you have an iPhone 12 mini, it'll probably charge the whole mini. But if you have a 12 Pro Max, the maximum it's probably going to charge is maybe 60%. And so a lot of comments have been made to say, well, why pay this much when you're not going to get a full charge? But in my eyes, this is not meant to fully charge your phone. This is meant to just charge your device so you can get by till you get to a place where you can actually charge your device. And so to me, you know, you have to kind of look at more than the milliamps. This battery pack only has 1400 milliamps, which is, you know, when we look at things like our battery in our phones, it's probably, the phone has probably twice as much. And so the milliamp is really, really small. But what really makes this battery pack a little bit better is the volts that it can output to charge your devices. Now, for example, your phones use about a little over 4 watts, volts, I should say, volts to charge your device. The battery pack uses almost 9 volts. So that's where this thing kind of separates itself from other parties that you can buy. There are definitely other battery packs out there, but they don't have the amount of volts that it uses to charge this particular battery pack. So what that said is, it just means that it's going to provide more power to go and charge your device. Now, it can, you can actually, when you snap it, you can either plug it into the battery pack, or you can plug it to your iPhone, and it will charge both. So when it's plugged into a wall, it will charge both the charger, the battery pack, as well as the phone. Now, when you snap it to your phone and it's going wireless charging, it's going to charge your phone based on, you know, where your battery is at. It's going to charge at 5 watts per wireless charging, which is typically what, like I said, majority of the other parties that sell the battery packs, they charge around the 5 watts. Now, this basically, this battery pack, if you put it behind an iPhone mini, it basically almost fits the full size of the 12 mini. Now on the 12 Pro Max, obviously you've got a lot more real estate, but to be honest with you, when I put it on, it doesn't feel uncomfortable. It doesn't feel very heavy. It weighs about 113 milligrams. So it is not a very intrusive piece, but some people may not like it because, you know, obviously you're putting an additional device attached to your phone while you're maybe making a phone call. But for me, I've used it when I reached where it says your battery is at 10%. You want to go in, you know, in the mode to save your battery. Then I snap this thing in. There's no wires plugged to it, and my phone is being charged while I'm using it. And I'll probably get about, you know, from 10%, I'll probably get up to about 60%, but that's enough to take me to where I would have an opportunity to charge the phone to a full capacity. Now, like I said, you can either plug it to the phone, or you can plug it to the charger with the wall, with the brick and a cable to charge both the device, and they will charge both at the same time. Okay, so like I said, wireless charging is about at 5 watts. If you do plug it in, then you'll get about 15 watts for charging. Now, why would I pay $50 more? And the reason that I would pay $50 more is because what features it provides to me when you're blind. For a visual person, this is not the argument, but for a blind person, I can make this argument. Number one, most of the battery packs that you buy have a power on button, meaning you have to push the button to initiate the charge. With the MagSafe battery, you snap, there is no power button. It just automatically starts charging. I don't have to turn a power on. I don't know, the status when I push the button. Did I push it on or off? Obviously, you'll get, you'll probably get a charge battery telling you it's charging, but that's all you get. If you can't see it, you're not going to be able to tell. But with the MagSafe, you're going to be able to tell because there is no push button to start or stop it. It does it automatically. Second reason, this is a MagSafe battery. That means that it has the MagSafe protocols built in. So you get all the benefits of having a MagSafe battery. Where the other devices don't, they're not certified to be MagSafe. Even though they're battery packs, but they're not certified to be MagSafe. Some of the other things that really made me decide to say I want to get this is the fact that it notifies me. So when I snap this on, I'm going to go ahead and snap it onto my 12 Pro. And basically you'll hear it. I'm going to go ahead and snap it so you can hear it. So you heard it. And now you hear the little ding saying it's getting charged. Now I'm holding my the battery pack and I'm just shaking my phone and it's not coming off. Now, obviously, if you put it on some skinny jeans, it may come off. But if you put it on, on a comfortable pants, they're not going to come off. Obviously, you can put it on, inside a purse and other things, and it's not going to come off. But the really thing that got to me is the fact that I can tell the charging capacity, because the other devices that you can get on the market for half the cost, they don't tell you the battery status. So I have my battery widget on, and if I go to my VoiceOver on.
Sree's Apple Watch 3, watch 8 Springfield batteries widget. Sree's Apple Watch 3, watch 82 charge MagSafe battery pack, 100 charged. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to
it. Gave me the information telling me exactly what the charge of my battery pack is as it's connected to my phone. And obviously, if I go to my phone now,
actions 10,
and I go to my status bar,
battery MagSafe iPhone 12 MagSafe battery pack 100 charged.
And if I go to my status bar and I go to my battery, it's going to tell me that it's charging. So that's kind of the reason why I picked this particular battery pack compared to some other ones, because I initially thought about buying a third party. But then I realized it's never going to tell me what the battery charge is. It's just going to tell me it's charging. And that's basically what the Apple MagSafe battery pack does. It's, like I said, it's very lightweight. I use it when my phone gets to a low amount. It's not used for me to say I want to fully charge my phone. That's not its intent. But when I need some quick battery to make sure my phone doesn't die, I'm using my battery pack, my MagSafe battery pack. So that's my presentation for this iToy. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer it.
Marc in Montreal.
Go ahead, Marc.
This is only good for the 12 series, right?
That is correct. And one of the other things I forgot to mention why this is really where I think things are is, Apple does have these battery cases. And just keep in mind that battery case is for that particular phone. These MagSafe batteries, they're going to work on all the iPhone 12s, and I suspect they're going to work on all the iPhones that come out next month. So you're not going to have to worry about changing a battery case because this is just going to be a standard fit.
This is Brad.
Hey, Brad.
MagSafe, so it attaches magnetically to the back of the phone. What about if you've got a case, like not just a little thin silicone case, but what if you got like a OtterBox Defender case? Is it going to be able to attach to that? Are you going to have to remove the case?
So
or is there a way to attach it using a wire?
So my question would be right now, because I don't have the OtterBox. My question is, if it can magnetically charge right now with the OtterBox, then the MagSafe will work. I'm using my Apple MagSafe case on my phone. Obviously, that's going to work, but I can't tell you for sure because I don't know. If somebody can tell me if the OtterBox case works with the MagSafe charging in general, then I would say the battery pack will work.
All right, this is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie?
Okay, so just a couple of questions. First of all, could you actually go back and describe what the battery itself looks like? Because, I'm picturing like, my Anchor battery, which is, your oversized Snickers bar kind of, it's long and flat. So if you could have just described like the way it looks a little bit. And then my second question is, can you plug the phone into the battery directly, or can you only use it as a MagSafe?
I'm sorry, say the second question again. I didn't quite.
So can you also plug the phone into the battery, like if you wanted to plug it, can you plug the phone into the battery, or can you only use it, with the MagSafe?
Okay, so if you're asking, going back to your second question, are you asking, can I independently charge the MagSafe by itself?
No, like say if okay, well let me give you a different scenario. Let's say either somebody has a case that's not MagSafe compatible, or maybe somebody has an older iPhone. Could they plug in like a cord into the port on the battery, then plug their phone in on the other end, and that battery would still charge the phone?
Okay, so now I got it. So let me go back to your first question, because you asked how does it what does it look like? So basically, it looks like the way I could describe it is like a square that is relatively thin. People have described it a little bit thinner than the Anchor battery pack.
Mm-hmm.
It weighs less than the Anchor battery pack, and basically it's a square. It's a square shape, but it's curved, so you have a very comfortable feel if you're wrapping your finger around it when it's attached to the phone. It doesn't feel like that it obstructs your hold. It's a comfortable archy feeling. I guess that's the way I feel it when I hold on to it. Matter of fact, I actually kind of feel better holding it because it kind of curves my hand to the phone. Instead of being flat to the back of the phone, I get that little curvy feeling. Now, it does put some weight, especially if you have the bigger phones. I've heard people, they say that the smaller phones, this feels a lot more comfortable while you're, if you're going to sit there and have a conversation on the phone with the battery pack on. I've used it with it on. I do feel it if you're going to have a long conversation, but if you're just having a quick conversation, it's perfectly fine. But I typically haven't said, "Oh, it weighs too much" or not. I haven't done that. Now it doesn't. I tried to see if it'll work with my 8 Plus. I could not get it to charge. I heard a ding once and then it lost connection. I've heard some people that said that they could charge it if it has the G charging wireless, with which like the 8 Plus does do. But I just was not able to line it up for it to make a connection, because that's what it needs for that charging to occur.
All right, so very good. So maybe somebody that is good at lining up wireless chargers might have more success. All right.
This is
like
Marty.
This one just basically snaps, so it's almost
Right.
like you place it, it's going to snap right into its proper place in the proper way it needs to be charged.
Right. Now, was there somebody else before Marty?
Meantime, New York City has announced a vaccine mandate for all.
Okay, we need to minimize background noise, please. So we hear like a
go ahead.
TV. I'm going to just Just please. Okay.
Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, I don't think you answered Herbie's question because I had the same question.
Hold on.
Okay, Google. What time is it?
All right. I'm sorry. I had to mute everybody. Okay. So sorry. Come back in, Marty, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can
sorry,
you hear
go
me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Herbie's question was just the one I have. If I got this, could I plug it, like take a lightning cord or whatever and plug it into my iPhone 8 and charge it? Or do you have to?
Right. So I got it. So basically, there's a lightning port on the battery pack, as well as you have a lightning port in your phone. So whether you plug it into your phone or to the charger, it's going to charge both. If you have a hardwire plugged in. So if you got a wall adapter.
I could take this, if I had a fully charged MagSafe, I could take it and hardwire it into my phone and it would charge like my 8.
No, it won't charge the 8. Right now, it has to support the MagSafe. That's why I was saying I tried it on my 8 Plus and I couldn't get it to connect.
Okay, so can you hardwire it to your 12 and do it, or do you have to put it to the back of the phone to charge? I think that's what's confusing me a little bit.
So let's look at it this way. First, let's look at it this way. You can charge the MagSafe battery by itself. Now, if the battery pack is charged, or let's say it's 50% charged, I snap it to my iPhone and I hardwire from the wall outlet to the MagSafe. It's going to charge both the battery pack and the phone. It's going to be both of them are going to be charging. If I plugged it to my phone and the battery pack is snapped in the back of my phone, and I just plug the hardwire to my phone, it's still going to charge both.
Yeah,
but it's going to
okay.
It's going to focus on the phone, but it's still going to charge the MagSafe battery pack too.
Right, but take the brick out of the equation.
Okay.
I just have this MagSafe pack in my phone. If I take a lightning cable and plug one end into the MagSafe and one end into the phone,
no,
is it going to charge?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thanks.
Sorry, I didn't quite understand.
That's okay.
This is Sandhya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what people were asking basically is trying to use that as just an independent battery charger, and that you're saying no, that like just can't be a battery source by itself.
Like I can't use this battery pack and plug it into my 8 Plus. It's not going to work by tethering the lightning cables together.
Right, that's what they want to know. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I think that's what people are asking. Okay, Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, I think what I've read about this device is it will only work with I think it's the 12, because that's the only devices right now that uses MagSafe. And what Sree is saying, that it has a lightning port on the battery pack and there is a lightning port on your phone, and you can either plug a charging cable into the battery pack and it will of course charge the battery pack, which will charge the phone through MagSafe, but it also works in reverse. You can plug the charging cable into the phone and the phone will charge the battery pack, but all conductivity goes back and forth one way or another between the battery pack and the phone through MagSafe. That's it. That's the only way you can transfer power one way or another from this device to the phone, which is why I believe it only works with one of the 4 models that are iPhone 12 series. Is that correct, Sree?
That is correct. Now, there are some, I did read some articles that people have been able to charge their AirPod Pro, lining it up in a certain spot on the battery pack to charge it. But I've not had a lot of success in that kind of stuff.
This is Herbie.
Yeah, I heard you.
So how often, like how many charges does the battery have before you have to charge up both devices?
So that's what I was saying. On a full charge on the battery pack, and let's just say and I'm going to start with the iPhone 12 mini. Let's say it's basically dead. It'll charge that iPhone mini probably to almost 100%. Now, if you take it out all the way to the 12 Pro, if the 12 Pro is almost, it'll probably take about 60%.
But what I'm asking is how many times, like if you forget to charge the battery, how long will it last you before you do have to recharge the battery pack itself? Or have you always just been good about charging it up, so you've never seen how, like some batteries, like for instance, they can only charge your phone twice and then you need to recharge the battery, or...
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I went cold turkey with it, I'm not gonna, if I just plug it into or snap it into my 12 Pro, it's almost dead. A full charge of my battery pack will take my phone to about 60%.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the battery pack itself. Like, how long can it last?
Oh, how long does it take for it to charge?
Yeah, well, how long does it like? Do you know how many times you can charge your phone on the battery pack before the battery itself needs charging?
Well, I've never experienced it where I've killed my battery pack because I've always had it.
Okay, I got disrupted by a phone call there. So you've never taken it down to far enough to see if okay. And then I guess my other final question is, so like, how long would it take to, like we talk about charging at a 5-watt capacity. So like, if your phone is dead, like how long would it take to charge up the phone with the 5-watt capacity to get to its full potential?
Sree, you're muted. Sorry. Okay. Well,
sorry.
There you go. Okay.
On my phone, I think it'll take about a little over 3 hours or so, maybe a little bit longer, about close to 4 hours if I want to get that 60% charge. If I didn't do anything, just let it just charge with the 5 watts, because 5 watts charging is, at that point, you're just basically trying to sustain it from dying. That's why I use the example. This is like an example where you're starving. Your phone is starving for juice, and you're just giving it juice till you can actually get a faster charge, so your phone doesn't die. So let's say you're in a very important call. Your battery says you've got 5% left, and you're going like, okay, I need to continue this phone call. If I put the battery pack in, I'm gonna get up to about a 60% charge on my phone before it drains all the battery out of the battery pack.
All right. Well, very good, Sree. Thank you so much. Thanks, Herbie. Okay, so we have very few minutes before we have to end our call. So if there's a very quick question, we could take that. And who would like to, anybody has a burning question that can't wait until next week or tomorrow? We still would like to help you out. There's a question. Anybody? Have to unmute yourself and say your name, please. Or other. Yeah, go ahead, Sree.
I just want to say something. We've in the past calls we've talked about the spam calling. I noticed days ago. I don't know if Verizon did this push or not, but they enabled my spam blocking feature.
Oh.
And the way I found out was I looked at my iMessages and I went to call block or spam blocking, and there's lots of numbers listed there.
Oh.
Like I didn't even initiate the block. It's just there was probably 60 numbers listed there.
Wow. And this is your carrier is Verizon, right?
Yeah, and it just started like a couple of days ago. So I don't know if they pushed it. So I'd be kind of curious if we have any Verizon users here and if they've got it enabled or not enabled, because I don't recall enabling it. I just remember now seeing all these calls have been blocked.
That is a blessing. Any Verizon users noticing that they're not
Or even
getting
other carriers. I'm kind of
Yeah,
curious
or
if
other
it's
people.
Verizon or AT&T, T-Mobile, if they've enabled this.
Anybody?
This is Herbie.
Yes, sir.
So what we've already had with T-Mobile for a while now is most spam calls are identified as scam likely on the caller ID. And there was only one time that was actually inaccurate. It was just because of my dentist's office using weird phone number. But I've heard talk about a new Scam Shield app that they are coming out with or have come out with. I haven't really bothered with it because, like I said, I can usually identify the spam callers anyway because of the scam likely label.
All right. Anybody else? Spam blocking software that they've noticed on their phones or features? This is Sandhya. I have Xfinity and I get says potential spam. It'll just say potential, similar to what Herbie was saying. Somebody else had a cut. Mark, or who is that?
Yeah, this is Marty.
Marty, go ahead.
I'm with AT&T, and what I've noticed is it will say, I think it's either spam or scam risk. It lets the call through, and when I've answered it, it really has been like it's been those warranty registration things, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
your
they
auto.
So
Okay, well, very good. And well, so with that, we are coming to the end of our call. So thank you so much, Marc, for helping me with the call tonight. And with the cool demo, and then Sree with iToys, and Herbie, thank you so much. And with all of our callers and all the questions, we are so grateful for you calling in tonight. And just keep in mind that we will be off on Labor Day, but we will still be here next week. So come next week. And then we have our 500th call on September 13th. So we sure hope that you will join us for that. Tomorrow is Clubhouse. Tomorrow evening is Mac and Talk at 7 on Zoom. Thursday it's iBUG's Life on Clubhouse once again. And then the movie is Taxi Driver at 8 p.m. Central, audio described. Social hour at 7:30, movie at 8. And then on Saturday, we have iBUG Apple Workshop from 2 to 4 Central Time. So it's a busy week. So we hope that you will come for any and all of these events. We appreciate you guys. And remember, we're always learning together. So take care and see y'all soon.
Thanks, Sandhya.
Bye.